Cruise ship totally loses power at sea, completely adrift for multiple hours. Is this the poop cruise 2.0? It really has not been a good month for Celebrity Cruise Line. Let's talk about it. Welcome, I'm Sean Wendt. I'm your host here at the Went There Cruising channel. Today, it's Cruise News Day for Sunday, August the 3rd, 2025. The big story today is from Southern Italy and Celebrity Cruises. So yesterday, on the 2nd, it was reported that the Celebrity Constellation, a cruise ship that was launched in 2002, completely lost power at sea and was adrift for 2 hours. So guests were reporting no power, no air conditioning, no flushing toilets, and only cold food being served. So yikes, that's scary. But apparently after 2 hours, they were able to get the power to come back on. And as of this morning, the ship is in port now in Messina, Italy. So yesterday was a sea day, but apparently they were able to make it to Messina. I'm not quite certain if they made it there on time, but they did arrive. So this is something of a trend. A few weeks ago, we reported about the Celebrity Infinity and how it was stuck multiple days in Turkey for an engine problem after a fire. There's no report of a fire on the Constellation yesterday, but nevertheless, a power outage again, and then ongoing issues with the Celebrity Beyond. So that one we reported just over a week ago about how they had to cancel an entire week of cruises and went to the Bahamas for the week for a major repair. Well, Celebrity announced this last week that they have now amended the itineraries for the Celebrity Beyond for the next several months, changing times in port, so allowing for slower transportation of the ship. So when it was reported that was just done for 1 week after the repairs, I think people interpreted that as like break-in period or something like that. But no, they've adjusted the itineraries for the next several months coming up on the Celebrity Beyond. So that seems to indicate that's some ongoing issues there. And that one's only a 3-year-old ship. So, but in the last several weeks, we've seen power issues on Princess. We've seen it on Royal Caribbean. We've seen it now multiple times on Celebrity. And what we have not seen it on, at least in the last month, is Carnival. So ironically, Carnival, famous for the poop cruise, and it sounded like we almost went that direction yesterday on the Celebrity Constellation, but actually lately Carnival's been fine. They do say that they spent a great deal of money after the poop cruise building in redundancies and systems to prevent that kind of thing from being an issue in the future. So let's knock on wood and pray that that actually is working. It does seem to be. So that's good. Another story today comes out of Royal Caribbean, and this is another example of how a few people screw things up for everybody. So, like most cruise lines, Royal Caribbean requires you to purchase the drink package for all adults in the room. So maybe only one person likes to drink alcohol, the other person doesn't. Regardless, the rule is that all adults in the room have to purchase the same alcohol package. Reason being, otherwise people share drinks, right? Which is exactly what they don't want you to do. But Royal Caribbean apparently used to make some exceptions to this. So you could call guest services and tell them your story. I think in cases where you're selling with a pregnant person, I think they were willing to swap out for the lower tier package that doesn't include alcohol. But apparently due to abuse, which not surprising, now they've decided they will no longer be making any kind of exceptions to the rule that all the adults in the room have to purchase the same package. So again, a few people screwed up for everybody, right? I don't think the occasional drink here or there was the problem, but I'm sure people are abusing it. But this actually brings up the point of if you really want a shared drink package, then Virgin Voyages is probably the cruise for you. There they have a bar tab that applies to all the people in the room. And I think it's actually a more economical way to do it, especially in the case if you have only one adult in the room that wants to consume alcohol. I think it's definitely a cheaper way to do that. I actually have a video linking comparing drink packages on different ships, and I'll leave a link to that down below so that you can check that out if you're searching for drink packages. But again, few people screwed up for the rest of us, so too bad. And the last story today comes out of the U.S. Congress, which that gives me a lot of confidence. Yeah, with all the videos of Amy Bradley and stabbing an icon of the seas and all these stories, well, apparently some congressmen have decided they're going to write a new Cruise Vessel Safety Act. So the Cruise Vessel Safety Act of 2010 is the one that we operate under now, and it requires certain crimes to be reported and investigated by the FBI. And so that's been working, but apparently there's still feelings of unsafety. I actually have a cruise safety video as well. I'll leave a link to that as well. But now, new Cruise Vessel Safety Act being proposed. It's not law yet, but I was looking at the draft here, and apparently some of the things, it doesn't, I don't think, really do anything to make cruising more safe. It does allow for longer periods of being able to sue a cruise line and more victim support lines, and that's kind of the bulk of it, man. There's nothing that actually necessitates more safety personnel or security personnel on the ship. So I guess it makes it easier to sue a cruise line, and there is some reporting requirement stuff in there, but nothing that's really substantive, which makes sense coming out of the U.S. Congress. Regardless, the conclusion of my safety video is that cruising is pretty safe, certainly compared to being on land. So that's the news for today on Sunday. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please like the video. And if you like cruise content, please subscribe. We want to be your source for cruise content. And until we see you next time, we wish you smooth sailing. Take care.